It was producing about 610 brake horsepower. That was in a soft top 90 with a manual gearbox. Or maybe they might have sprayed a load of black rust proofing all over the chassis and underneath the vehicle before they've kind of advertised or listed that vehicle. If they've done that, they're just trying to hide all this corrosion. I'm now 62, believe it or not. I can't believe where all this time has gone. I'm still as enthusiastic as ever. It's almost difficult to remember now because it's basically 38 years ago now. You know, I'd been through agricultural college. I'd always wanted to be a farmer. We had a family tenanted farming business, third generation effectively since sort of Second World War onwards. And I'd spent a couple of years travelling around the world and working in agriculture all over the place, and also getting involved in a few overland trips here and there. And so I had this sort of travel thing and this adventure thing in my genes a bit from that. I'd come home to the family farming business. My father had, for whatever reason, decided to leave the business and do something else and take his life in a different direction. So, of course, the opportunity was for me to see whether I want to take up the mantle and have a go at running the farm, which was always my dream, really. That's all I'd ever wanted to do since an early age, of driving tractors around the farm and helping at harvest from the age of about 12 onwards. So, of course, rather than emigrate to Australia, which was also a possibility at that time, I thought I'll give it a go. So I took it on my own, and it was sort of 600-700 acre cereal farm, and we also had quite a lot of cattle at that time, fattening beef cattle and so on. And I realised really quickly that there's a lot of limitations in running a farming business, and a lot of the land we have around here is quite light soil types, which means that we suffer from drought in the summer. The machinery was also in a bit of a poor state, and I suppose my grandfather used to buy and sell farm machinery, vans and the occasional Land Rover all those years ago. So that was in my genes, and so I thought, well, let's see if we can buy and sell a bit of farm machinery. I was also very practical, doing fabrication, mechanical work and so on, together with another guy that worked in the business, a part-time mechanic. So we were buying and selling farm machinery, doing it up as a way of subsidising the farm in the wintertime. On the back of that, I was trying all sorts of different things because I knew we still needed to find another way forwards alongside the farm. And I kind of thought, well, what about if we buy an old Land Rover, tidy it up, and then maybe use it through the summer for harvest, and then try and sell it in the autumn, see whether we can make a profit. So that's how it started. A little journey over to Bromsgrove one day to purchase a Series 2A long wheelbase Land Rover, which had a Perkins diesel engine in it, and we bought the roof, the hardtop for it, and the back door at the same time. It was a bit scruffy. We brought that home, and then we tidied it up, repainted it, and got it organised to use it on the farm. And then we sold it in the autumn of that year, which is back in around 1988. Made a profit, so right, let's go and buy another one. So off we went, bought another similar vehicle. So effectively here we have a large double oven body shop, which no one else in the industry has that. We're doing work on vehicles that we're bringing into our inventory to resell, but we're also doing lots of involved refurbishment, body refurbishment, resprays and modifications for clients when they want things doing, conversions where they want them turning into coffee baristas or ampers or other sort of specialist jobs, let's say. We've done all sorts of interesting jobs for customers over the years. We have a fabrication workshop as well, where we can make stuff, and then there's an engineering side which happens in the same workshop where we carry out these sort of diesel and petrol engine conversions. And then there's a large general workshop where we do all the service and repair work. We are able to, without affecting people's warranty, service anything Land Rover, Range Rover product, right from brand new down to the oldest, and it won't affect your warranty. So you can bring them here with confidence. And we're also now effectively an official Grenadier service centre, which means that we're now looking after lots of INEOS Grenadiers and quartermasters that come into us from all over the place for service and repair work. We're also stocking Grenadiers amongst our inventory of vehicles. We carry around about 60 vehicles in stock at any one time, mostly Defenders, with a few INEOS Grenadier and Quartermaster, the odd Toyota, the odd pickup truck and the odd Range Rover Sport and so on along the way, as and when something comes along that's really nice. we'll probably have a go at it, purely because we like to offer nice quality vehicles. The sales side of the business is actually really, really busy. We are blessed. It stays busy pretty much all the time, and that is down to our determination and focus to deliver quality vehicles and lots of meticulous preparation before they leave us. And of course have a nice range of stock that people can enjoy floating around on the website. And of course a great backstory. One of the things that keeps us busy is that we probably would convert somewhere in the region of 60% of our sales business are to customers from the past or friends or family recommendation, and that's really, really useful, and that's really the main reason we stay so busy. So yeah, even in these tricky moments we're having this spring, summer with what's been going on in the Gulf, we are still really, really busy. A lot of my staff have been with me for sort of 15 or 20 years, which again helps keep the business in a calm place going forwards. And we've got a great spread of skills in the workshop to cover pretty much anything from any kind of trim work requirement, any sort of engineering or engine and swap install, to fabrication work, specialist body work, and of course all the things we do in the body shop just sit from me. If somebody just has the misfortune of backing into the farm gate or something a bit more involved, we can assist, we can help. So yeah, really proud of where we are. As I say, one of the things that we've always focused on from the early days, in the early days of Land Rover 90s, they weren't blessed with a particularly powerful engine, often no power steering, very basic seating and so on and so forth. So we started installing brand new Isuzu turbo diesel engines in them, 2.8s, back in the sort of late 80s, early 90s, which gave the vehicle a lot more performance, add power steering, better seats, bit of soundproofing and so on. And then, of course, once we got into the 90s, Land Rover put a much better engine into the vehicle, which meant that the diesel engine that was in it in those days was kind of pretty adequate for most people and also quite reliable. We continued playing around with all sorts of diesels over the years. And then around about 15 years ago, we started showing more interest in some of these bigger petrol V8 installs. We've become known for that. We run a sister brand next to Nene Overland, which is Revolve Motorworks, which kind of focuses on the higher end sort of individual Defender kind of requirement when a client would like to take their vehicle or purchase something from our stock of vehicles and then make it their own, make it individual, make it different to everybody else, but along the way make it perform better, make it smoother to drive, better brakes, better suspension, a classier interior, more comfort, quieter. I have a sound engineer in our business, and that's all he's done for the last 25 years, so he has a lot of knowledge. So if anybody wants to put a nice quality sound install in to enhance the quality of sound, or some nice sat-nav large screen kind of solution in the dash, or fully soundproof it or whatever, then I have a guy here that's all he's done for many, many, many years. And of course I'll often let him talk directly with the clients, which kind of means that they can understand the options in a way because he has all that knowledge. So we are very, very much a one-stop shop. We carry all of these skills, lots of enthusiasm to try and help people. And I think another thing that I've always felt was important was because we have been able to get ourselves in a position where we can offer everything effectively. There's nothing that you could do to a Land Rover Defender that we don't offer at Manor Farm, Aylesworth through Nene Overland or Revolve. I suppose people look at pictures, don't they, on the internet, and they see pictures where people have photographed vehicles very well, often in a very clever way, to kind of almost hide things, but draw people's attention and their eye to all the pretty trinkets around that vehicle. And they'll make the paintwork look nice because it's a photograph rather than a video, walk around videos. And often the price looks attractive. And they'll get drawn to it because they think, oh, I'm getting all these extra bits and pieces on this Land Rover for the price, when maybe I went up the road to Nene Overland and I'm going to have to pay probably the same, but without some of those trinkets. But what people don't realise is that underneath that Land Rover, it's probably going to be mechanically a bit tired. The dealer's not bothered. They're only interested in getting it sold, obviously. We all want to do business, but let's do it in the right way. They're not going to be that fussed whether the bulkhead's got a bit of corrosion in it or the chassis got a bit of corrosion in it. Bit of slot through the transmission and just general tiredness, or maybe they might have sprayed a load of black rust proofing all over the chassis and underneath the vehicle before they've kind of advertised or listed that vehicle. If they've done that, then more often than not they're just trying to hide all this corrosion For me, I'd rather just wash them off underneath, allow the clients to see them for what they are. Hopefully we can show them something where it's got a really nice chassis on it anyway. That's the key to it. And then we're not hiding anything, are we? And if they wish to have it rust-proof, well, then we can always put that into the equation afterwards. So yeah, the biggest thing is corrosion to chassis, bulkhead, door frames, and after that, cosmetic. And alongside, I suppose, corrosion, you're going to have to say how well the gearbox is and how much free play there is through the transmission, clunky transmission when you change gear and so on. All these things cost a lot of money to sort out. So buy once, get it right, make sure it's a nice vehicle. And I really don't mind if somebody contacts me and I haven't quite got the right vehicle in stock for them, but they found something out there. I'll say, well, send me a link, I'll have a look at it. And I might well say, look, that guy's a good guy, he sells nice Land Rovers. That might be a good way forward, the price is right. And I'll help them feel confident that they're going to go out and buy that Land Rover. It's not about trying to just keep pushing them my way all the time. It's just trying to help people. Yeah, whenever we take a vehicle into our inventory to resell, we'll always do this kind of 100-point check, health check. And to be quite honest with you, we're probably doing more than that. Because we know these vehicles inside out, there's lots of little quirky things on Defenders as they sort of age that need addressing. And most of these things the client's never going to be aware of. You know, the client's thinking we're going to give it a service, we're going to MOT, there'll be a couple of jobs here and there, maybe a little bit of paint. But quietly in the background, there's so many other little things that we will always do. And to be quite honest with you, most of this stuff, most of the people out there selling used Defenders will not do. They just do not do it. Because vehicles come into here where people have bought them elsewhere. And of course, we'll check them over in the workshop and we're often going to find the simplest of things where the clock doesn't work, the door doesn't shut properly, or one of the windows doesn't go up and down properly, or the door rattles when you shut it. You know, the driver's door, they kind of twang when you shut them because there's something going on with the window regulator. We have to strip the door out to sort that problem out, but we will always do it. Because if I was getting in and out of my Land Rover Defender and I shut the door and it twangs every time you shut the door, then I think it would irritate me. So I think about my customer. I think, what's it going to irritate them? Yes, it will. So all these things we're going to do, it's all about attention to detail. I think the most performance we've ever put in a Defender, we did a soft top 90 many years ago, which had a supercharger on it. It was a Mustang 5-litre engine and it was producing about 610 brake horsepower. And that was at a soft top 90 with a manual gearbox. We'd lowered the suspension. It was like a little tractor almost. We went even further with it because I kind of thought how funny would it be if we can stick a couple of Bentley screens on it and have no windscreen. So we did that as well. And it just got so much attention, this Land Rover. And all it did is want to make you smile wide when you went up the road in it and round the corners down the street from here. So yeah, it's a lovely way the customer will come to me with these ideas in their mind and passion and dreams that they want to turn into reality. So we can work with them and come up with something that's going to be reliable and lots of fun. And yes, they're going to keep surprising me because this isn't going to stop. Originally, it came to me as an ex-Land Rover produced SVX Defender 90. We'd bought a few of them because we'd owned lots of SVXs new and used over the years. And this particular vehicle, it was actually left-hand drive, and I just thought, we had a lot of these around at that time. Let's just use this as a base, as a starting point to retain the look of the SVX, keep the same roll bar, it had that thicker sort of roll bar around it, get rid of the soft top and the windscreen, put these Bentley screens on it, put a Mustang engine, a brand new Coyote Mustang engine. We built this Land Rover back in about 2014. We then put a Whipple supercharger on it with a Tremec gearbox, a strong gearbox. We dropped the car down. It only had about 1.5 inches of suspension travel, some big brakes, limited slip diffs front and rear, limited slip diff in the transfer case. It was such a lot of fun, that Land Rover. It was so much fun. I'd really like to have something like that around us again at some point. Whether we do or not, I don't know. The issue we seem to have all the time is we're just so busy. There's not a lot of spare time just to build toys for ourselves, let's say. It's all about building fun vehicles for our clients, really. But that was probably one of the most fun cars that we've ever had because it was light, it was set up for track days almost, and you couldn't help but look at it because it was just so different in a very bonkers but fun way. We just thought we'd focus on this lovely anthracite grey 110 that we've got here, which was our ex-demo V8 Defender 110 that we sort of had on the company for about 12 months or so, and around the various shows. Kind of showcase everything that we can do, and the story thus far, because this what's in front of me is the result of how the business has evolved over the last 20, 30 years, because it's kind of got everything on it to, to where we got to a couple of years ago, and still kind of doing similar things. This one's got an LT1, 500 horsepower V8 engine in it, petrol engine, which is a much more modern variation of the sort of LS3s that everybody knows about. So it's a lot smoother engine, much more fuel efficient, more power, and it also benefits from an 8-speed automatic gearbox rather than on an LS3 where you get a 6-speed. Originally it came in and we bought the vehicle off a customer with about 32 or 3,000 miles on it. It was Santorini black, just a 110 2.2 litre XS manual station wagon. It was in really nice condition. It was a 15 registered vehicle. So towards the end, we just took the decision that we would do it in this lovely anthracite, which is actually a Mercedes colour, and sort of a G-Wagon and G63 kind of colour. We'd seen something somewhere where they'd sort of mixed in a little bit of yellow detail here and there, which I thought worked quite well. I'm a creative soul, so over the years I've sort of done all sorts of weird and wonderful things that kind of look well, but we also helped our clients come up with something where they end up with this kind of individually tagged Defender, which is what it's all about. Everybody wants something that's just like a little bit different to everybody else, and it's trying to help them achieve that, but at the same time make sure it does actually look really nice, so when they get out of bed 6 or 8 months after they've bought the vehicle or had it delivered, they still look there and they smile at it every day. So here we go, opening the door on this one. It's kind of got a combination of our sort of Raptor coat sort of on the door cards on the bottom sort of 2/3 with a leather trim on the top, so you've got a mixture of style and also practicality. It has a full complement of Optimil billet aluminium on the inside and on the outside of this vehicle, so all the door hinges on the outside, the washer jet and so on, and door handles, everything is Optimil. We do lots and lots of Optimil kit. We really like it. It's like putting bits of jewellery on your Defender almost, and of course it's functional, and you can have an upgrade where it's not so easy for people to nick the doors and so on and so forth. We've put 4 Shieldman seats in it, which we trimmed. We've got this nice yellow sticks in the seats, again to pick up a little bit of yellow going on to break up the black leather and the anthracite. Bespoke centre console, which we make here to give a bit more style and functionality, plus of course the Stinger head unit, which we do loads of them. It's a lovely product, it's a nice upgrade from what we were doing with these older double DINs for the Pioneer and Alpine units in the past. A second row, what we also did, which is something we've done for years and years, is we ripped out all of the floor. So all this has been reworked. What it's done is meant that we've made it so these can load bigger seats in at the right height, and also a bit further back, which means you get more leg room. So there's about another 5 or 6 inches of leg room in this vehicle, whereas all the competition, all they do is take a pair of bucket seats, stick it in the back, say thank you very much, where they're far too high up, you're hitting your head on the headliner and you haven't got any leg room. So that's something we do, but we thought we'll push this one a little bit further. So we put a taller fridge in the middle as well, little drink sort of holder with some switches for your heated seats in the back and USB ports to charge your phone and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the second row. Coming around in the back, again, we put bench seats in it purely because we get lots of customers that ask us to remove the 2 forward-facing tumble-down seats in the back of a 110 and then put two two-man benches in the back to give you 4 people in the back. They take less space up when they're folded out of the way, which makes it more practical. And if you want to pop down to the pub or the restaurant or the local park or whatever, you can get 8 or 9 people in the vehicle. So that's a real popular upgrade. Coming round, it also has this tractive, semi-active suspension system on it. So you can vary the spring rates. There's 5 settings. There's 5 settings for your anti-roll. There's 5 settings for your pitch and dive. So there's lots of control to get that vehicle to drive nicely on the road and ride nicely over the bumps. So we'll put a nice progressive spring on the vehicle, plus that nice tractive suspension. And it works so well because it means that if you want to push it a little bit harder, if you've got a nice V8 engine under the bonnet to get you going down the road a bit quicker, you can keep it nice and flat on the corners. But at the same time, when you hit those bumps and potholes or speed bumps, it's not going to knock your teeth out. And it's something we've refined over many, many, many years. We really focused hard on suspension solutions back in 2007 when the Puma range of Defenders sort of first rolled out. Because I could see at that stage that the Defenders are going to become so much more popular because they just drove so much more car-like after 2.7 than they did previously. Client who bought this vehicle wanted a slightly different front end on it, hence why it's got this different sort of front end on it. We've got this nice heavy-duty bumper with some laser 750Rs in there with the mirror reflections lights wide for your main beam, which you've got an independent switch for on and off. And of course, what looks like something, when you look at under the bonnet of this thing, it just looks like this has gone into it from day one at Land Rover. And that's just how all our V8 installs are. You lift the bonnet and it just looks factory-like. And that's what it's all about. This is quite popular, but to be quite honest with you, we do a lot of the smaller brother of this engine, which is a 5.3 litre engine with about 355 horsepower instead of 500 with this one. And we've made that work so successfully, really, for about 5 years now, where we'll put it in front of the existing 6-speed manual gearbox. So if you want a V8 manual Defender 90, 110 or even 130, we can sort that out for you here with a modern solution. And we know, because we've never ever to this day had a gearbox fail because of putting that engine in front of it. Because some people think, oh, all that power, how's it going to cope? We do a few little modifications to the gearbox, make sure the gearboxes are obviously in A1 condition, upgrade the clutch and a few other little bits and pieces. But customers have been enjoying them now for about 5 years, no problems whatsoever. And of course, it's a little bit cheaper by going down the manual route, and it keeps the ethos of the Land Rover closer to its original route. And the other thing, of course, is when you look at how the gear shifter and everything and the gear lever all works in the manual solution, it looked back right because we've effectively not really changed the tunnel area or anything else. Some nice 20-inch wheels on this one just to finish it off. Nice and individual. And of course, as we pan round here, you can see that huge great rotor in there and those 8-pot revolved brake calipers hiding behind those wheels, which of course some people love. So if you're after a big brake solution, there it is. Although for a lot of customers, I would say I would recommend something a bit tamer. You don't need to invest quite so much money. We get a lot of clients who love the idea of a V8, but they're not really going to ride about in it as if they're on some sort of track day. They're just going to enjoy the rumble of it and the smoothness. So when you're going up the motorways, it's nice and smooth and quiet. Whereas, of course, there are some clients where they do like to drive them pretty hard, and they're the guys who are going to say, can we have those nice big brakes? So thanks for looking and listening this afternoon. This vehicle, as I say, is the pinnacle of what we can get up to here at Nene Overland. Even if you get 2 or 3 grey 90 XSs in the yard, in a line, in our lot for sale, there's no way in the world they're all going to be the same. They're all going to have something slightly different about them because they are like little people. That's the unique thing about a Defender. Because it's built a bit like a Model T Ford was. You know, in other words, you start with a chassis, you put a couple of axles underneath it, then you put the bulkhead, and then you put the steering column through the bulkhead, just as we've all seen in those old black and white films with the Model T Fords going up the production line. A Land Rover Defender, it's effectively the same. And because it has this body, which is made up of lots of parts, like a big Meccano kit, every single one of them is going to have a slightly different feel. The doors are going to fit slightly differently or shut slightly differently. The way it feels when you drive it down the road, every single one will be slightly different. And that is the appeal. They have a soul. And that is what you do not get in many motor cars that you can go out and buy in a showroom today. I think 2-3 years down the road, the used Defender market is going to get quite a lot smaller than it is at the moment, because there's just going to be less of them coming onto the market with nice mileage in nice condition and so on. What that's going to do is potentially going to push the used prices up a bit. So going forward, I would say that 2 years from now, the retail price, like for like, for a vehicle for now, as of 2 years down it, time is going to go up by a few £1,000s, because we're probably going to be paying a little bit more for them. But concurrently, because they're now a bit older, we're going to be doing a bit more work on them. So that's going to push the price up. That's going to put a little bit of pressure on the buyers as well, which means there'll be some people kind of questioning whether they really wanted to invest quite as much in that used Defender. So I think 2-3 years down the road, the used Defender marketplace will be a little bit smaller than it is at the moment. I can see us perhaps carrying 20, 30 vehicles in stock, not 60 or 70. We're really excited about the future. We feel that the Grenadier, Ineos Grenadier quartermaster side of the business will grow. We're very keen to start holding a lot of used in stock. Of course, we can also supply new Ineos products as well if anybody wants new. Because we're now an official partner for service and warranty works, I can see that side of the business is going to grow. It's a great product. It fits perfectly halfway between the classic Defender and the new Defender. So it's got more of a soul than the new Defender. It's far less complicated than the new Defender, and they built it to be a really heavy-duty workhorse in a way that probably the new Defender isn't. So for us, converting them into overland campers and commercial requirements, and also families that just want to enjoy them for weekends, fun, camping, whatever it may be, I think within a year or two, there'll be a lot more people looking at used Grenadier potentially than there will be used Defender 110s. So I can see us having more of those in stock going forwards. The other thing that we want to crank up again, in years gone by, we used to be the Hannibal Safari equipped importer for 18, 20 years, which was the early days of the roof tent market. We were keen to be involved with that company because they had the best roof rack in the marketplace then, and even today, even though you can't buy one new today, it's still the best roof rack. But we're now going to be far more focused on creating some kind of showroom area here at Nene Overland at Manor Farm, where we're going to have a full range of Alucab product on display, plus the Iceco fridges and all the other associated equipment that go with these products. So it will become more of a destination where people will just turn up here to go and look at Alucab Gen 3 roof tent or one of the pickup camper solutions or the pop-top roof to go on a Defender 110 or a Grenadier. So we're very excited about that, and I think that side of the business, I can see it's going to grow a lot over the next 2-3 years, a lot more focused. So as our Defender sales kind of shrink slightly, I can see the lifestyle equipment, overland equipment side of the business growing considerably in the future. More and more people seem to want to have a vehicle they can use it every day, take the children to school or pop to work or run to the station, but at weekends jump in it, drive to the Peak District or down into the southwest or up to Scotland or whatever they're going to do to get out away from the everyday life. I can see that growing and growing and growing. We've also got an area here where we can have a little campsite. So if people want to come and camp at Nene Overland overnight, free of charge, even though we haven't got that on our website, it's something we are going to push in the future. Just to make this area, it's a beautiful part of the country around here. Rutland, Stamford, some lovely restaurants, hotels, great pubs, lots of things to do around this area to give you a reason to perhaps spend a couple of days, on the sort of Rutland, Cambridgeshire, Leicestershire borders. I've always wanted to do a high-performing 6-wheel drive Defender, sort of jacked up with probably around a 700 horsepower V8 supercharged, fantastic trim, amazing styling, and so on. We've had the ability to do it over the years. The know-how is here. It's not really something you'd want to build just to have as a showpiece because, of course, it's a huge investment. However, you never know. Somebody might roll in one day and say, look, can you do that, Andrew? Can you build one of those for me? We'd look at it, we'd talk about it, but that would be the build. If there was anything that I would like to have done over the years, that would be it. For me to keep getting out of bed in the morning and jumping around and skipping around and getting into my business every day, as I do, 38 years in, 62 years old, I just still have this passion and enthusiasm and drive inside me. Somewhere along the way, we've created a very strong brand. We've generally got a good reputation, and I don't want to see that come to an end. I want it to carry on. People are going to keep travelling to just south of Stamford or near Peterborough, where we are, just off the A1, just off the A47. We're easy to get to for us to help them with whatever they're thinking of doing.